A very good morning. Thanks for clicking on to the Saturday edition of Vogan's US Outlook. Hope you had a chance to look at yesterday's July outlook. Of course, it has been a rather interesting June across the United States. We've seen a lot of moisture getting lifted up from the Caribbean into Florida, essentially really taking away the drought across central and southern Florida. We've also seen a lot of moisture, of course, associated with Tropical Storm Cindy continuing to moisten the soils not just across the south from Texas to Georgia into the Carolinas, but also up into the Tennessee, Ohio Valley. And through the weekend, we're going to see moisture getting projected up into the northeastern half of the country as well. The heat in the southwest, of course, record breaking, tying all-time records, never mind June records across the southwest to start the work week. What we're going to see is a sharp cool down. We are continuing to see major heat. We've seen 126 degrees at Death Valley, California yesterday, which was a record for the date. But we are going to essentially start to see that heat breaking somewhat because we're going to reverse the upper height pattern from a ridge in the west, trough in the east. Very, very cool air associated with this anomalously cool, deep trough over the Great Lakes that is continuing to drive chilly air across the plains and into the southern half of the country here. We could even be talking about record low maximums and minimums over the next few days here. But what is going to essentially happen is we're going to start to see the heights weaken enough in the southwest to turn temperatures either at or slightly below average, while heat across the southwest eases. We're going to see temperatures rising once again across the eastern half of the country. As we continue to skip through July, folks, into the middle part of the month, we're going to build heights like a kind of banana shaped high. Bit of a negative here, if you notice here over Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana here. I think we're going to continue to see wet weather here across this portion of the country. But as we go through the month of July, I think what we're going to start to see is we're going to start to see heights coming up over the eastern half of the country, along with the temperatures. Precipitation wise, real quick, you can see here for the opening 7 day period, still wet across the southern half of the country. And we're going to continue to lift moisture into the east and the north. Still dry, as you would expect at this time of year across the west. Then the moisture gets lifted down to the south as we start to build the high pressure across the northern half of the country during the month of July. I think we're going to start to see lower heights, more in the way of thunderstorms across the southern tier of the country in response to that. As we go towards the end of July, continuing to see wetter than normal conditions across the south and the southeast. 2 meter temperature anomalies to start the upcoming period here. So the upcoming 7 days, look at this here, really chilly for the time of the year across a good chunk of the country here. Still warmer than normal, as I said, across the western half of the country. Then we'll start to see a change. Southern California turns cooler. The north remains cool in the wake of that trough pushing through, warming up some across the southern half of the country. I think the blues here across North Florida, uh, near the Delta region of Louisiana, Texas. I think this is a lot of rain-cooled air. But as we go through the month, you can see here the heat starting to establish itself across the northern tier of the country as the heights are strongest across the north, and temperatures in the rain-cooled air generally at or slightly below average here. So certainly it looks as if we're going to see a warm July overall, I think, according to this model anyway. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great Saturday, a great weekend. Back again next week. Bye for now.